So here's the delivery with the two Xbox 360s in it. I've not opened it yet. I've just taken the address off so you can't see it. Let's have a look and see whether there's any damage from Royal Mail or not. So just going to open that now and we'll have a look. Oh. And inside the box we have got another box. So I'm just going to pause here a minute while I lift this box out of here. So here's the package that's been sent in with the Xboxes. So let's just get it open. Because I'm a crap YouTuber, I forgot to press record when I were unwrapping that one. But you've already seen me unwrap one. So this is the second one. It says all tested on the 31st July. There's another 4 gig model. It's on dash 17559. This one I'm keeping. Might need a cleaning inside. So there's two consoles that John sent in for us. And he said on this note that we've got here, it says, "Hi Steve, my name is John. I'm a volunteer at St Francis Hospital. I've been working for them since 2020. I get items like games consoles to test to see if they are working and sell for charity. I'm only a new beginner for repairs, which is why I'm still learning, hence that's how I found your channel on YouTube, which gave me more insight of doing repairs and learning about these mods. I've still got a long way to go, but I love watching your videos to see how it's done by a professional." Thank you very much for that, John. I won't class myself as a professional, but with the 360s, I certainly know what I'm doing. I've been doing these consoles since they came out, really. But yeah. Anyway, one of these consoles I'm allowed to keep for myself. The other one is going to the children's charity cancer research, which I will get put together more Xbox 360 items so they can get more when they're selling it. This then will be passed over to cancer research so they may sell it on for charity. By modding the Xbox, I can install some games on the hard drive to raise as much as they can to help them out. I can't wait to see your video on YouTube. All the best, John. So thanks very much, John, for sending that in. I'm going to have to cut into a montage again while I strip these down. So let's get on with that. Okay, so let's get these stripped down. You're going to need a T10 and a T8 Torx screwdriver, and if you pop onto eBay you will find one of these X-clamp removers. These are not there, they're only about £3, and it'll save you from scratching the motherboard trying to get the X-clamp off. So let's go into that montage, strip these consoles down. I have marked them so I don't get them mixed up. You can see that one's got a number 1 on it, the other one's got a number 2 on it. So I'm going to go through and mark the DVD drive and the cases etc with number 1 so I don't get them mixed up. So right, let's crack on and get these stripped down. Okay, so that's stripped down now. That's 01, 01, and I've marked the case with 012. I'm going to pull the other one down. I'm not going to show you another montage to pull that one down as well. So I'm just going to move this one out of the way for the minute, strip the other one down, and then I'll come back to you. You can buy all this stuff straight from PCBWay, and that's thank you to our sponsors. You can buy all this gear. You can buy the shrink wrap that you need, the DuPont cables. You can buy the Pico Pi and everything. So with that, here's a word from our sponsors. Big thank you to our sponsors of the channel, PCBWay. If you are enjoying these videos and you'd like to make things yourself, or you already are making things, then get yourself over to PCBWay. They do everything from PCB prototypes to PCB assembly to flexible PCBs, HDI, CNC machining and 3D printing. They also do a lot of things in the shared projects. So if you have a look in there, there is a plethora of things that you can actually purchase and use yourself. If you're wanting something from the Commodore 64 to the Spectrum to the Apple, everything's in there that you could possibly ever want.
So get yourself down to PCBware. You get 5 PCBs for $5, and that's a bargain.
Right, okay, we've got them stripped down. That's your number 1, and that's his number 2. To be honest, they're quite clean inside. I was quite surprised, to be honest. Yeah, I was expecting them to be really, really dusty in there, and they're not. So that's great. So we need to get these heat sinks and fans off now, because we need to get to the underside of the board, and this thermal paste will need to be changed as well. So I'm going to show you why you need an X-clamp removal tool, because this job makes it really easy. So if I flip it over, you can see these and how they'd come off. So all we do is insert this tool, if it'll go in. I'll try it on a different one. So all we do is insert the tool and then lift, and that comes straight up and off, look. Yeah, off. And then you can just wiggle that around and your X-clamp comes off and your board comes away, and it's got the old grey thermal paste under there, look, because this has never been into before. Right, so that's a bit gungy under there, so that'll get a good clean before we put that back, and we'll clean this up and put new thermal paste on. So again, here we go with this one. I'm not going to hold it up this time, I'm just going to do it on the deck. So we can just go under there, into there, up you go, and into that one, that comes up, and then we just give it a little wiggle and it should fall off. Sometimes you have to do the third, but hey, it's no hardship, is it, when you've got the tools? There you go, look, off she comes. So that's the other one off. Again, original thermal paste that goes dry. That is not wet. So great. So luckily we have got 2 Trinity boards, which means the lines are going to be here for the PLL line, which is awesome. We can fit some of PCBware's quick install boards. So that board's going to go just here and come down to a point here, point up there, and it solders to that resistor there, and then we run the wires down. Right, but I'm going to install the wires first, then I'm going to install the NAND reader, and then I'll see you then. So, okay, so these are these 2 boards that I was stripping down. I know I've jumped the gun a little bit, and I was going to short solder in the NAND X wires, etc. and stuff like that. But this is board number 1, this is board number 2. This has already been done using the bad update method. I have not soldered on these. I did scrape them back, as you can see them are a bit shiny, but I have not soldered to that board at all. So that one has already had the RGH NAND flashed to the NAND without having to solder it in here. I know I did the video not so long since about bad update and just 2 wires to flash it, but there's been some progress. We only had a 70%, sorry, 30% success rate. So the Winchester one that I had before would glitch within about 10 seconds, and then it took all day, and then it took 2 days to be able to do it, and it was being really sporadic. So I was told that there's been a new improvement to the stage 3 on the bad update, and I've only just been told this today. So I downloaded the files, updated the USB. I will post a link to the website where you can get this from in the description. So, and all you do is just replace the stage 3 file in the bad update data, and that's it. That's all you do really. So there's no point in me showing you that on a video, but I just wanted to show you what the lights do and how fast this actually works. So I've just booted it up at the moment. Let's see how quick it does it. So I'm going to start the Rock Band now. So let's go for it, and I'll turn volume up on there so you can hear it. There we go, you ready? And you can watch your lights down here as well. So let's go. Running exploit, you can see stage 2's processed. And if we keep watching, we're into stage 3, look at that. And it's glitched. Did you see how fast that was? Right, so what I'm going to do now is the normal method. Right, you're just pressing OK on that, and yay, we're done that. And that should take us now into the dashboard. So if I go to the games section here and go to XEX menu, that should run. Takes a while to load. There we go. So if we now go over to my apps folder and we have a look inside Simple NAND Flasher, that's all we've got there. Oh, there you go. Do we want to dump it? Oh, of course we want to dump the NAND. And then what I'm going to do after it's dumped that is I'm going to run this process again to get a second NAND, because you should always get 2 good clean dumps of the NANDs just to be 100% sure. So once it's done that one, I'm going to run it again, and then I'll take you up to the screen so you can check out what I do in Jungle Flasher. This is our folder that has our dumps in now. So I've just transferred the key, the log and the dump one, and then I renamed the second one and moved that into here after I dumped it twice. So I'll just move that out of the way at the minute. So that is our Simple NAND Flasher folder. You can see it's just got the default exe, but that's what we're going to put as update flash in there later. So I'm just going to move that down to the side. In here, in that folder 2 and folder 1 is both our motherboards from the one that I've previously done, which was motherboard number 2. Right, so next we can load the source. So we need to go looking for it now. So I need my C drive, and I need number 1, and we need the first one, and put that in there. It will automatically populate the CPU key if that CPU key is in that folder. So you don't need to bother putting that key in, it will get it for you. We can load the second one, in she pops, and we can compare the 2 NANDs. Yippee! They are the same. So now all we do, right, you don't have to do anything at all. I will explain after I've done this stage of what we're going to say. Right, so we don't need to read NAND because we've done it with a bad update USB. We don't need to create Excel. We don't need to write the Excel. We just need to create the XE build. So make sure your dashboard's on 7559. Make sure your console type is selected. Make sure glitch 2 is selected. And make sure that RGH3 is selected. That's all you need. So let's create a build. That's done, it's finished. So I'm going to open this, I'm going to open the working folder down here. So that should bring us up to everything that it's been doing in here. I'm going to take the KV info and copy that. And I'm going to put it into the file 1 because these files are going to be sent to the owner, so they've got the original flash dump files. So the update flash, which we put on it, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put that in there too. And if I can, I'll do it again, copy, and I'm going to put that into our Simple NAND Flasher folder. So that's going to copy our update XE build into here. Okay, so we're done. Close it off. Got us folders there we can zip up and send away, and that is that. So I can take the USB stick and put it back into the Xbox. We can watch that light flash, which you can't quite see that, but I can. And once it stops, I shall go and check the games and make sure XEX menu is running again. That's it, it stopped speaking, so I can click on that. We can start XEX menu up. Again, we've got the pause. We go back to us Simple NAND Flash. Run the default XEX. Now we've got 3 more options at the bottom now. It says, do you want to flash your NAND with raw V5? Do you want to safe flash your NAND with raw V5, which dumps it and rewrites it? Press X if you want to dump your NAND with flash, which we did earlier. So we just want to write it in. So I'm going to press A. Let's see how fast that does that. And tells me to press start to confirm. Confirm. So it's now writing back to the
console with our XE build. Once that's done, it's just a case of putting the 2 wires on the back. So it's done, it's finished. It'll be rebooting in 5 seconds, but it'll never start again. So that bad update is absolutely awesome now. It does it fairly much instantly. It's cracking, absolutely awesome that it's doing it. And I'm well happy that that gentleman in Discord that joined, we had a chat and he told me all about it. So that's just going for a reboot now, but I'm not going to let it. I'm turning it off. Right, okay, so I have already gone ahead and scraped the point when I find it for you. Come on, where are you? There you go. So that is the tiniest point ever. Right, so you can see my soldering iron, how tiny that is. Right, I'm just going to put my soldering iron in there, look, it looks like a brick compared. So what you need to do is get something like a little X-Acto knife or something like that, or if you've got some strong tweezers, which we have in this world for doing this, and just use one side of the tweezer and just gently just scrape away until you get some nice clean shiny copper. That's what we're looking for, and it's just in between C5R35. See, it's usually just in between there, or slightly above it or below it, depending on the silk screen how it's been printed. But what I need to do now is I need to get some solder onto that blob. I'm just waiting for the soldering iron to warm up. These are also available from PCBWay. So just set that to 350. So we're there now, look. So what I'm going to do now is just put a blob of solder, and you'll see how big solder is in there against that point. So what we need to do is take a bit of solder and blob it in there if we can, which would have been better if I would have put some solder, some flux on, but I didn't. And if this doesn't take, I will. Kind of did, not brilliant. What I'm going to install is this little PCB from PCBWay. You have to put your own little resistor on it. I'll put some pictures up for you, but that's what we're going to pop in. It makes life a lot easier if we're installing new wires, and you're not having wires pulling on them points neither, because they are tiny. Right, so I'm going to put that in. That should just sit just there. Maybe not. That should sit just there, and that other end should sit down there on our point, our tiny little point there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some solder and put a bit of solder into there, and let's hope we can get it. Feel it, so it's pushing on it. So if I melt it, we should move right into position really well. So that's on that point there now. Let's take a look at the top one when I find it. Come on, Murray. There's his board, up we go, in the corner. So that one there. So we need to flow some solder into that joint. So that's got a nice grip on that one. And then his last one is just down. No, it's not there. It's there. It's there. There's quite a way away from it. So, but don't worry about it. You can fill it up. It's not a problem. Just fill it up. So all I'm going to do is put some in there. And just keep on putting solder in until you can bridge it. And that's it. That's all we need to do. So I'm going to clean that off with a bit of IPA. We need to prep these other solder points. So as top one, which is the post, we need to send across to that point where I've got a load of flux over top of it, which is R3R22, just above the number 2. So we need to put a bit of solder on that to help us get the wires on. It's always best, because this is leaded that's on the board, and this is unleaded that I'm using, which works a treat. But unleaded is a lot easier to work with than what leaded is. So if we just go up there and put a blob on that. And then if we move down to the bottom of the board, we're on the last point down here. And all these points are all on... Can I find it? Come on, where are you? Yeah, it's there. So all these points you can find on RGH3 website. And I would suggest go down and do that. And this is FT2V1 point, and you can't really see the writing because of that flux. So I'm just going to put a blob over on that point. You'll see it in a minute. So there we go. So that's all his points done. So we need to get his wires in now. So now it's wire time. Wire time! And we're going to go straight up to the PLL from there. So all I'm going to do is measure it from there up to there and snip it off. So that's that one. So there, all I'm going to do now is go from our other one, which was somewhere. I could never find this, would it? Drives me bananas, to be honest. So all I'm going to do is measure from the PLL point on the QSB across to that point there, and we'll see how much wire we're going to need for that, which is not a lot really. So I'm going to put that there and across to about there, and we're going to snip that off. So what I'm going to do now is solder them wires on the board, and then we can flip it over and check it and see whether it boots up. And if it does, winner winner. If it doesn't, we'll look into that, won't we, when we cross it. Well, here goes. Let's go. Okay, so let's do short wire first. So I like to take a little nubbin off the end of it if possible. If not, we might have to melt it off. We have to do the melt trick. We'll do the melt trick. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with this. Is all I'm going to do is melt that off the end of it. So I can feel the end of that wire now. So all I'm going to do is melt that. So that's on there. So I should turn the board around so it's easy for me to solder. And we're going to do the same with the other end whenever I under has got. Where are you? Come on. There's his board. There's his top one. Where's his points? Aha, there we go. So we want post. So it's a bit wobbly. I have tried stripping this one as well and it didn't want to move. Just trying to melt it back a little bit. And we can go and get that wire in there then. And that looks really rough, so I'm going to put some flux on it. That looks better. Lots better. Much neater as well. So yeah, that's his first wire done. So his next bit of wire, I may as well just do up here. Just spin the board round because it's easier for me to solder. So we're going to go for the post where we've just been onto the PLL. I'm going to do the same thing. We'll put some flux on. This wire's going to go into this way. So that's in good. Looks a bit crappy there, but it'll clean up. So we can run that wire now down to its bottom point. So we can take this other wire, put that into that one. Again, we'll just melt it. Yep, that's got it. So we're done. So I'm just going to put a bit of tape over that and rebuild that one, and then we can test it. Okay, so we've got to this point where we can test these consoles. This is console number 1, the one that is keeping. There is console number 2 for the charity. So let's see if this thing fires up now. It should be good, but let's have a go. Once I've tested this one, I'll show you the bottom of it. You can have a look, see what I've done. So if I just short them 2 pins out just there, let's see if it fires up. When I find it, oh, there we go. Hey, it's alive! So okay, you can see the light flashing down here. That's because the DVD drive's missing. And there we go, we're into the dashboard. And there you go, we're into the dashboard. So under here now we should have XEX menu, because I have copied it over to the internal SD card. We should take a second to find that. So yeah, we're into the games. So I have copied Ghostbusters over, so that's on the SD card, and it has got XEX menu on there. So I'll just show you. If we go into XEX menu, you can see that's running now. It does take a little while to boot into XEX, so don't worry about the black screen. Now to navigate, if you use your bumpers, you can press right bumper to go through. This is showing you the flash in here. Unfortunately, you can't do anything in here. You can't set up, you can't put another folder in there for apps. I tried it, it wouldn't have it. You can't do anything in there. So you do need a hard drive to be in there. Once you're in the hard drive, we can go. Say if you press X, it brings up your flash unit, which is the flash on your Xbox. That's all you can see. You can't see the actual flash, 4 gig flash, unfortunately. That's the flash for the NAND. And if you do anything in here, then you'll more than likely screw it up. So yeah, so we're running XEX menu. We should be able to go back to dash. Can we exit? Yeah, press start. So there you go, that's taking us back into the dashboard. So if I go over here now, if I stick my USB stick in, give it a few seconds for it to recognise it. And you can see that we've got the rock bands back again, and we've got 2 XEX menus. But what I'm going to show you is if I go into XEX menu, that one, which should be, no, yep, that's on the USB stick. You can see Need for Speed there, look. If I go into that directory, we can have a look. This is on my USB stick now, so we can look in games. So you've got Need for Speed there, and you've got Raw 36, which is Another World for the Amiga, which was a port over, which is a homebrew game. I was going to copy it over onto the SD card, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way. But we can navigate off the USB, and we can go into that Need for Speed, and we can look for the default exe file. Where are we? There we go. And we can start the default exe file up, which should start the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit game. So you can see that's console number 1 that's up and running. Now, console number 2. That's been fun. But yeah, let's have a look at console number 2. Okay, so I've got number 2 plugged in over here. This is console number 1. And that's what I've done. That is the mod that I've done there. So you can see how tiny them little points are down there. I'll try and stop it from wobbling. And we've got another one up there. And then we've got the quick install board by PCBWay that's just underneath the X clamp there. So that's number 1 done. Number 2. Let's fire it up. And yeah, that's all this one does. I cannot get it to work again. It actually fired up once after I'd done it to test it, just to make sure it booted. It fired up, it went onto the dashboard menu. I put my USB stick in and the joystick. I started to copy XCX menu over. It got to about 3/4 of the way copying over and froze solid. And it has not worked again since. I've tried all different resistor values, because the Trinity you have to use a 3K to 10K, and sometimes moving the resistor value does make a difference. I've rebuilt the NAND 3 or 4 times and reflashed it. You know that we did the bad update on this one to get it working. I have had to solder the wires for my NAND reader on there to be able to try and get out of it. And I've even flashed the original NAND that we got the dump off it and took the wires off. Nope, still doesn't work. I've done everything. I've done everything I can possibly think of, and it's just dead. The only thing I can think that's gone wrong is the actual NAND flash itself is corrupted in some places, and it just won't take a read or a write. I've done hundreds, maybe thousands of RGHs and JTag consoles, and I've never seen anything that's happened like that before. Most of the time, if they don't boot, it's down to your soldering, or it's down to you've not programmed the NAND correctly. But I've been over it. I did exactly the same thing with the first board, which was wire it up like that with the QSB. I gone on there. If you can see in there's a little resistor. You can see it right in there. There's a little resistor. I've changed that 3 or 4 times to different values. Makes no difference. If I put the original NAND back on and take the wires off, I get the green light comes on and then it just turns red. I don't know. I've checked the back of the board. I've had it under the microscope. I've looked at everything. Did I knock a resistor off with the soldering iron? Have I put a bridger anywhere? Have I had a drip of solder anywhere? Has there been a little bit of solder gone in somewhere? I've had a really good look at it, and I cannot get this one back. So unfortunately, the charity number 2 console is dead, and that isn't coming back. So what I'm going to do, because this one was for charity, and because it came and it was working, because you saw it working because we tested them in the beginning of the video. So I don't know what's gone wrong. I don't know whether it's something that I've done and I've not noticed, or whether it's something that's failed on the board. But it could be a bad NAND flash chip that's not accepting the NANDs correctly, or writing the NANDs to it correctly. I really don't know. It could have been on its last legs and it's just died. I don't know. I'm at a complete loss with it. So this one's going to go into the spares bin, and what I've got is another one that I'd already done. Turn that off. And what I've done is I've transferred the stickers off the other one and stuck them on top of here so it knows which is which. So this is another one that I've done. It's all up and it's running. I'll quickly show you. So we're all well back up again. I'm just going to switch it on now. So this should be the other one that I did before, the RGH, which I'm going to pass on. I know it's working, you can see it's working. I can't do that. I can't accept a console that was working and then give back a non-working one. I really can't do it. It's not in me, and it's for charity as well. So I just thought I'll just give them this one. So what I'm going to do is just go into settings. Let's have a look at settings. Go into storage. Let's go into my USB stick. Let's go into games. There's a Ghostbusters there. Look. So we do game options, copy, and we'll put that onto the memory stick. I'll skip this bit through, guys. I won't let you wait for it. The video's getting long enough as it is, to be fair. So there we go. We're nearly there. It's nearly finished. Blum. That's done. Let's have a look on the memory unit. Has that got XCX? It has got XCX already on there because I did it. Profiles, RGH3, it's got a profile already signed in. Games, we've got just one of the Ghostbusters on there. So we can take my USB stick out this one. We should be able to go back to games. And you'll find the Ghostbusters there. We've just copied over an XCX menu. So I'll just start XCX menu up for you. Again, you've got that little bit of a pause. There you go, it's fired up. You can see your CPU temperatures, etc. and stuff there. So if we come back out of that, fingers crossed it goes back into the dash. Yeah, we know it will start. That's just a glitchy thing that when you come out for some reason. If we start the games up, we can start that Ghostbusters up. So that should just fire up nice. There you go. Looks like it freezes, but it does that when it's loading. It bounces about later. There you go. So yeah, so that's console number 2. Boshed off. And we're going to box that up now and get that in the post today and back to them. So yeah. So I'm going to leave you with a montage of putting the number 1 Xbox back together. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, it all helps the channel. And also check the description for any links to getting hold of this gear and the QSB boards from PCBWay, etc. And don't forget to check out our other YouTube retro repairers. They're all in the group at the bottom. You've Captain Commodore, Joseph Retro Bits, and Retro for You. So go check them out, guys. They do some great stuff as well. So on that, I'll leave you with the montage of the rebuild, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!